You think you have this whole work thing down, but I have some bad news for you. You don't. So we have 3 non-obvious truths that you need to know that you're not thinking about. Number 2 is my personal favorite.
Well, Kyle, I agree with you that they're non-obvious, but I don't know that they're truths.
Oh, they're truths. Let's get into it.
So we got 3 non-obvious truths that we're going to talk about.
Correct.
But before that, I'm doing a little something I'm calling Per Your Last Email.
A special segment.
Which is where we highlight what you are saying to us.
What? This sounds so lovely, Kayla. I'm sure our fans are loving people, thoughtful, sending us fan mail all day.
You're right. And many are.
So what do we have today?
This is not that. So this is a comment on Twitter from a person named Lou.
We won't dox you, Lou, because we have respect.
Lou said, and I quote, "Why are we forced to listen to these 2 trolls? What nonsense. This is why nobody listens to anyone under 30 years old grow up and read a book."
Sounds like we're young.
I heard under 30.
Under 30. Lou, thank you for the compliment.
I heard under 30, and that I was glowing for 24 hours when I read this comment. Thank you so much, Lou.
It's the Kiehl's sunscreen I use.
Yeah.
I think it gives me that young glow.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not very nice.
It's fine. It's fine. I love it. Well, what we're trying to say is, if you have something nice, let's give us a comment. We need to counteract the Lou's of the world.
Yeah, we cannot let the Lou's win, folks. This is a call to arms, metaphorically. We cannot let the Lou's win. So we love nice things. I'll be honest. When people are like, write in, even if you... I want to hear nice things.
Yeah, give us some nice
Only
stuff.
nice things. And leave reviews on Spotify, 5 stars. If you're going to leave a review that's not 5 stars, don't do it. Just go about your day. Ignore this.
It's not true.
5 stars only.
I'd take a 4-star.
I'm going 5 stars only.
Okay.
And it does make us feel good. And that's nice.
And it
so
helps
we
the show.
appreciate that. Last thing I will say is we do get actually a lot of emails per my last email at morningbrew.com that are like super thoughtful, workplace scenarios, reactions to the show. We read every single email. We really appreciate it. So thank you all who have wrote in, and we're looking forward to more people doing the same.
Yeah, and if you have ideas for the show, we do incorporate, when people send us in ideas or, AITA submissions and all that. So yeah, send us some info. We want to chat.
It's quite fun. So let's get to the non-obvious truths, Kayla. We've waited too long. The people demand the truth. They are coming to Per My Last Email for the gospel of Kayla Lopez.
Oh, goodness.
What is truth number 1?
Well, now I feel overly hyped. But I do have one non-obvious truth that I stand by, which is that there is a right way to be exploited at work.
Okay. You're going to have to say more.
Okay. So I think we spend a lot of time talking about this generation, Gen Z. They've come up in the workplace. They're probably early managers now at this point. And we talk about exploitation at work. We talk about how Gen Z is employing better boundaries. All of that, as you know, I am a big fan of. That being said, I do think that if you're so afraid of being taken advantage of, or you're so afraid of being exploited at work, you're going to miss out on career opportunities, career growth opportunities. I think that, like in a relationship...
Every podcast starts going off the rails where they go, it's actually just like dating.
Yeah, like in a relationship, look, there's inherent vulnerability to every aspect of your life. I'm not saying you should be vulnerable at work inherent. Like there's, you need to have boundaries. You shouldn't release all of those boundaries just so that you can get ahead at work. I don't think that's true. But I think in a good relationship, you have to open yourself up to potentially being hurt. That is letting somebody into your life, being vulnerable with them. Now, again, I'm not saying that relationships and work is like identical, but there is this inherent vulnerability of, I am going to go above and beyond. I'm going to try.
Yep.
And there's a chance that my job, my boss, my company will take advantage of that. There's also a chance that I will be rewarded for that. And so I think that there's this kernel of vulnerability and of going above and beyond that you have to do sometimes in order to get ahead. And I think that can be perceived as exploitation.
Yeah.
I have 3 right ways to be exploited, but I'd like to hear your thoughts first.
Okay. Well, I think despite me making fun of the analogy, it's a very apt analogy, which is like, if you never open yourself up, then of course you won't get hurt, but you're never going to feel love in the relationship sense. Same thing at work. Like if you never go above and beyond, you're never going to see how your employer would react to that.
Right.
Some cases, if you have a great employer, they're like, holy shit, here's more money, here's a promotion, here's exactly what you want. That's great. And if you see a repeating pattern of behavior where you go above and beyond and your employer like takes advantage of that, similar to a relationship, you're like, okay, this one's not for me. It's time to move on. So I think you have to at least try. And a lot of people, if they've been, burnt in the past at work, they're much less likely to try. So that's understandable. So I think it's a decent metaphor.
Yeah.
You do your 3 tactics first.
So here are the right ways to be exploited.
Okay.
When you should be going above and beyond versus like when you should be having strict boundaries and just doing exactly what's in your job description. First is when you're in control. So this is when you're going above and beyond because you want to go above and beyond, not because your company is forcing you to do what is beyond what is expected of your job description. So when you're in control of, I'm choosing to do more, I'm choosing to work late, I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, yes, you're putting yourself out there. There's a chance that your work is taking advantage of that.
But you're enjoying it.
You're enjoying
so
it.
Like,
you're in control and you're opting to do that.
You're getting paid and you're enjoying it. Who's like taking advantage of you?
Right. I think where it gets dicey is then when your company is like, great, now do that again. And now I'm expecting it and I'm not going to reward you for that.
Yeah. But in that case, you have leverage to be like, yeah, I'm happy to do it again. And clearly you like the results, but I'm going to either have to make more money or change this about my title because that's not in my JD. So you're creating leverage to get more of what you want.
Right. And you can say like, here's the success metrics that I've already achieved.
Exactly.
You want this again? Pay me.
Boom.
Which brings me to my second point, which is when there's a real chance for a payout. So payout doesn't necessarily need to mean monetary or financial. But if you're like, if I put myself out there, if I go above and beyond, and I feel like 51% confident that I can be rewarded for that, whether it's a raise, it's a promotion, it's, praise, if that's what you're looking for, then I think that's another opportunity where you should take that. You should be a little bit more vulnerable, go above and beyond. And then finally, where you're able to take learnings elsewhere. This is, if I do this and I open myself up for potentially to be taken advantage of at work, I want to be able to, if they've proven themselves unable to reward me for this work, I'd like to be able to take what I've learned and apply it elsewhere. So if it's like, working a 20-hour day for like somebody else's project that you're just like tying, I don't know, bows or something, like you probably can't like take that skill elsewhere. But if it's like, I'm working above and beyond, I really want to get a promotion, I'm trying a new product, I'm learning a project and I'm learning a new skill. Even if the company does take advantage of me, I can apply that in my interview process. I can get a new job. That's when I think you should put yourself out there and get potentially exploited.
Okay. I have a reaction.
Okay, let's hear it.
I have 2 reactions. The first is, okay, if we're going to define exploited as the value you create from your position to the company is X, and the company only pays you X minus something, like less than X, yeah, then every single wage worker or salaried worker in the entire world is exploited. And like, that's, if you want to believe that, that's fine. That is, I think, just by definition, capitalism. Like, yeah, if you're getting paid by someone, you're giving them more value than they're paying you, or they wouldn't be paying you.
Right.
So putting that to the side, when I hear exploited, my actual take is like, you're not being exploited. You work from your living room.
Yeah.
Typing keys. And then like money just shows up in your account. You're living in an air-conditioned home. Like, I hear people complain saying they're exploited. I'm not saying you can't have complaints about your job.
Yeah.
But using the language exploited when you literally hit keys all day and make like, I literally have the stats, an average tech worker makes 2.3x the median American salary.
Yeah.
So you're not being exploited. Exploited is when we built the subway in New York City and we shoveled humans into tunnels who were paid like 12 cents an hour, many of who died building infrastructure. Like, that's exploitation.
Yeah.
That's like, that should be not okay, illegal, obviously. Like, that to me, the language is way too dramatic, where it's like, you are not being exploited. I see you eating a sweet green salad. Like, come on now. Like, chill out. Like, you have such a blessed life. And I think it's like, of course, there's justifiable complaints about work. Get the money, use whatever leverage you have. I just think thinking you're being exploited when like you're not compared to the average human, you're so lucky to have what you have. It's just like a recipe for a disaster.
First of all, I am obsessed with this. It's so funny to me. Like Kim, there's people that are dying, right? It's like, that's kind of like the energy, right? I agree with you. I think it's important to put it into perspective. I think there is exploitation in like white collar work as well. But I think it's true. It's like, yeah, you're probably getting paid a living wage. Okay, something that like occurs to me, and again, this is like alleged, whatever. I don't know all the research. Is like the content moderators that are like looking at the most horrific depths of
course
work. That's a tech worker that I'm like, you're being exploited, and like this is harming you as a person.
That sounds terrible.
Right, like you're spending 8 hours a day like looking at images of people shooting dogs or whatever.
My point being is like when people who live a very comfortable life use that word, then when we use it for people that are legitimately being exploited and like there should be deep efforts to undo whatever system is causing that, it just feels like I'm like, they're not apples to apples.
Yeah,
this is a very different situation.
I actually agree with you 100% on that.
Wow.
So
okay, let's wrap up the show. Sounds like
we never need to do another episode ever again.
All right, let's move on to non-obvious truth number 2.
Sure.
Unless you have anything else.
No. I think that makes sense. I think the only other thing is like, I like the comment that you made before the exploitation rant that I agree with. What I disagree with is where you're saying like, if the expectation is you're getting paid exactly the value you bring. I agree that that's not the case. You should always be bringing more value than you're being paid.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think it's when the expectation is that you bring, X plus 10,000 and you're bringing in X plus 100,000 and they're not increasing X.
Right.
So I think that's like, when we're talking about that differential, it's like, yeah.
Eventually the differential gets out of whack and you're like, yo, pay me.
Yeah.
And I love that too. I love getting raises.
So
I hope everyone listening gets a raise.
Great. Okay, now we can go to number 2.
Okay, let's go to number 2. Also, Sweet Green is not a sponsor. Sorry to disrespect your salads. Okay. This is my non-obvious truth.
Okay.
You only hate personality hires because you don't have a personality yourself. Yes, I said it.
Hot take.
My take is personality hires are actually very important.
I disagree.
And people carve out, like, they discredit, quote unquote, the personality hire, the people that like bring community, make connections, make work fun, get people to work together, because they don't have those skills and they're defining work to only be the skills they have. So they can be like, well, I'm technical or I'm X, Y, or Z, and like that's all that matters. And these people just having fun and making people feel comfortable and bringing teams together, that's bullshit. Like, that doesn't count. They're a personality hire. It's like, no, that's actually very important. And so I think the whole dialogue around personality hires is way off. And in fact, I think it's actually harder to learn those skills, like the EQ skills, than it is to learn some of the more, I don't know, traditional skills you'd think you needed work. So in some ways, they're more valuable and more rare. So that's my take.
Okay, so I agree with you that a personality hire is, like, a true personality hire is like a good thing in a company. And I agree with what you're saying. Like, of course, you value the skills that you bring to the table more than a skill that you don't understand.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you don't value.
And the same way, like, I'm non-technical. So, like, I'm probably like, oh my gosh, like, that stuff's easy to learn. Like, it's not. It can be very complex. So I think there's just, like, more understanding needed between, like, the team building, EQ, like hangout, feel good camaraderie that is built on the backs of some people who I think are like, quote unquote, going above and beyond their job and thinking about team dynamics in a way that's very necessary at a company. And the people that maybe aren't as extroverted, aren't as focused on this team building, but still contribute heavily to the underlying product, their team, whatever it might be. End of rant. Back to you.
Okay. And we'll be right back after this. Okay, back to the show. I think that you don't understand what a personality hire is.
Maybe that's true. Because I'm not one, and I'm sad about it.
No, I don't think you understand what a personality hire is, because my understanding of a personality hire.
Break it down for me.
Is that all you're bringing to the table is your personality, and that's coming at the expense of your job.
Let me see how good the personality is.
True. So here's what this is what I wrote down. You're not a personality hire. Do your goddamn job. Because I think the true personality hire is so rare, where you're inspiring others. You're making work so much more enjoyable, that you being at the office is net positive.
Yeah.
Versus you being at home doing your job. That is so rare.
I love this take. And also I'm realizing that if you are a true personality hire, I think you're just eventually called a leader.
Yeah, no.
Because what you're describing is leadership. Yeah. But keep going.
So what I think where the personality hire goes wrong, and where it really is a problem, is when you're oh, I'm a personality hire, and so I'm not going to contribute my actual job. If you're busy chit-chatting at the water cooler, and you're at the expense of the task that you need to be doing today, that is bad. That is annoying, because not only are you, maybe you're bringing camaraderie up by 1% in the company, but your team is getting let down.
Yeah.
And so I think a true personality hire is very rare, because it needs to be your personality brings more than the job you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Where I think, so let's take Morning Brew as an example.
So Kayla's a personality hire.
No, I am not.
She's the one that we don't like.
That's a problem. This is a problem. I genuinely think if you're a personality hire, you don't think you're a personality hire, because you have a good personality and you're not egotistical thinking I'm a personality hire. So this is Morning Brew as an example. As you know, we have a lot of really fantastic personalities at Morning Brew. We work with some of the brightest, funniest, most amazing content creators, and people on the business side also bring that energy.
Is this an ad for Morning Brew, or what's going on?
Yeah, you should. Obviously, if you're listening to this, you should love Morning Brew. But everyone is also doing their jobs. And yes, sometimes their job is to be the personality, to be making content that is funny and informative and witty. But they're also, everyone's working really hard. And so I think that's what it makes this so fun. Is that everyone is here working in the trenches, doing a lot of good work and being funny.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it amazing.
Kayla, I love how your whole point is Morning Brew Inc. is kind of the shit. Everyone's cool, smart, funny.
Yeah.
We're the best. Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
But you know what I mean? But if you take that same, so I have this strong memory of one of the old writers, she left recently. I love her, Cassandra. She had this shirt that said personality hire on it, and she would wear it to work. And I remember being first of all, that's hilarious. And second of all, no, you're not, because you have the personality.
You're top 1% writer in the world.
And you're a good writer and you're good at your job.
Yeah.
That's not what this means. And so it's I think there's this idea that, oh, I'm a personality hire, so I can just be fun and witty and not do my job. And it pisses me off.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. I think the worst scenario, the most frustrating scenario, is when you have someone, to your point, that thinks they're the personality hire and then is really not doing their job at all. Yeah. But it makes it harder to get diagnose. Yeah. You're I wish you weren't so personable, because then it would just be you're not doing anything around here. I think the personality hire is a smokescreen sometimes for but you're not doing your job.
Right.
And that's getting really frustrating. And when it's that type of person, it takes a while to actually get something to change, because there's this beautiful front of a facade of being so likable. Yeah. And no one who's ever said I'm a personality hire is genuinely
no,
a personality hire. But I think most people are joking about it.
No, for the Cassandra thing is funny because she's actually good at her job.
Yeah.
Right? You can make jokes about being a personality hire when you're actually doing your job. And that's it. If you're not doing your job and you're using your personality as an excuse, you probably don't have that good of a personality. Yeah. Sorry. So that pisses me off. But I agree that a true personality hire is a value add, and people hate them because they ain't them.
Okay, come on now. Way to wrap it up. So we a light show today. We've covered exploited at work. We've ripped on personality hires. We've probably pissed off everyone in the world.
Every single person has been upset.
So let's triple down.
Okay.
Truth number 3.
Truth number 3.
What do you got for us?
So I think this is not necessarily, this is like a myth bust of a common career saying. I think people will come to you when they've messed up and they'll say, it's just business. It's not personal. And the non-obvious truth here is that business is personal. You're dealing with people. No shit, it's personal.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just be like, I'm just going to be a robot, a dumb asshole robot, and get the job done. No, you're not. Right?
Yeah.
Getting the job done involves other people. Unless you're like some weird like 100x engineer that like just sits in a corner and codes and like makes billion-dollar companies or whatever all day. You need other people to be on your side in order to get stuff done. So of course it's personal. And this is just an excuse. This is what people say when they're trying to be an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, hey, it's not personal, it's business, is a cover a lot of times for being an asshole.
Yeah.
However, I do think there's a legitimacy to this point in many use cases at work, which is as a leader, you sometimes have to make tough decisions that are in the business's best interest.
Yep.
And certainly in the short term, not in an employee's best interest, AKA you have to fire someone.
Yep.
And why I say short term is like, my view is that everyone is very talented and has a fit somewhere. And if it's not working out at company X, it's not because they're bad. It's not because company X is bad for the most part. It's just like you haven't found the right fit. And like there's going to be some pain in uncoupling the two so the company can find the right fit and the employee can find the right fit somewhere else. But of course, it sucks getting fired and laid off, and like that's never fun. And I think people say that. I wouldn't say it to someone's face when you're doing it, but I think people just say that to understand. Like, I'm not saying you're like untalented overall, that you're a bad person overall. Like, I am a steward of the business and I have responsibilities, and so this is the right thing for me to do for the business, and that's why we're ultimately here. So I think there's some legitimacy. However, yes, I agree that a lot of times people just are a bull in a china shop and say, well, it's not personal, it's business, and it's just an excuse to be an asshole.
Yeah, and I think, of course, there's going to be business decisions that are not aligned with a personal decision.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, I have to lay off a friend or something. But I think that the way that you do it
I see what you're saying.
Bring humanity into it.
Yeah.
And I think that there's this, like, it's business and then there's personal. It's like, no, because you're dealing with humans. And so we've talked about this a lot. Like, a company is not a person, despite what the U.S. government might say.
Maybe that changed. I don't know where we're at.
I don't even know.
Couldn't name any laws anymore. Yeah.
It's true. I've lost track. But like, the company is inherently at odds with the individuals underneath it.
Yeah.
And like, the company as an entity is going to make decisions that do not take necessarily human emotion into consideration. This is what I've said in the past. Like, you know, if it means that it's, you know, the financially better thing to do, a company will fire you, lay you off immediately. They don't care that you're a personality hire, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're not adding business, you know, or if you don't make sense for the business, you'll be cut.
Yeah.
But then there are people making
just there's a way to do that respectfully.
Exactly.
As well.
And so I think what this is like, of course, like, you should go into your job understanding that there's going to be business decisions that are made that do not align with your personal best interest.
Yep.
And you should be guarded because of that. But like, when you're a person, you need to interact with other people, like with humanity. You can't just be like, well, I'm the CEO, therefore I get to be a not human. You know, it's like stupid.
Yeah. My spicy take, well, no one who says they have a spicy take is never
This is
spicy.
about to be the lukewarm.
Yeah, it's going to be so lukewarm. Totally lukewarm. My take here is, I think in general, like, if you separate your personal life from your business life as an employee, you're setting yourself up to be more sad than you would if you didn't do that. Because I just think it's impossible. Like, you spend so much time at work.
Yeah.
Like, you're at work more than you see your family. It's like for most people. Like, remember that we got a listener email like once, or I think it was an "Am I the Asshole" situation where she was like, "I don't share anything with my coworkers. They don't even know I have kids." And then Samantha outed me and said I like volleyball, and I couldn't. You know, it's like, how, like, that just
How
sounds.
are you getting things done?
That just sounds miserable. Like, I think if you're too, it goes back to your first point. If you're too guarded, if you're not like vulnerable, and do have some like personality, some humanity, some connection at work, it's just going to be robotic and dry and probably super boring for 8 of your 24 hours every single day. And that doesn't sound fun. So maybe the overall lesson we learned on this whole podcast is you got to be vulnerable. You have to expose yourself maybe to some letdowns, but overall in the long term, you'll be happier.
Wow. What a Sesame Street way to wrap it.
We have Big Bird here coming on. So yeah, maybe that's my final thought on that.
No, I agree.
Truth.
Now that you've said this, it feels like all 3 of these are pretty aligned, which is like you will have to be vulnerable at work if you want to succeed. And like sometimes that's showing your true personality. Sometimes that's like remembering that you're dealing with humans and there's humanity like everywhere, and it's not just business, it is personal.
Yeah.
And that might mean that your company like takes advantage of you a little bit. Ideally, there's like a benefit for you as well, because it is ultimately a transaction that you're having with your company. They're employing you and you're providing value.
Yeah.
But there is some vulnerability required because it's messy and there's people. I think we actually, I don't know.
Nice therapy session.
That was kind of crazy.
Yeah. Full circle. So we have one more bonus productivity hack brought to you by the Gospel of Kaila Lopez.
Once again.
What do you have for us?
So I have a productivity hack for everyone, which is last week I was quite sick. Productivity hack for everyone. I was basically bedridden for like 3.5 days, and I was trying to do some work, but like my brain was not braining. I was just like not doing anything. I was just getting stressed because I was like seeing the slacks pile up and like could not think of responses. So I took a few days off. I rested, came back on Monday, and there was some work. There was some work that had to be done. So the last like 3 days have been a sprint. And I got a lot done. So productivity hack is consider being sick.
I think we're going to get like an FDA warning layer, like CDC or something.
Maybe it's take time off when you need
Per
it.
my last email podcast tells listeners to get ill.
No, I didn't say that.
To increase productivity at work.
Maybe I did say that.
Let me spin this into an actual productivity hack. The power of artificial constraints.
Great.
So it ends Parkinson's law, which is work fills the time you give it. And so the big project you think is going to take a long time, if you just give yourself an artificial constraint and say, actually, I have to finish it in half the time, maybe don't get sick, maybe go do something fun for the other half, it likely will get done.
Yep.
And I think the key to like remaining sane at work is being able to do that and be like, I'm going to get this done, and I'm time blocking it for this 2 hours. And it's going to happen, and I'm not going to think about it until those 2 hours. And for the rest of the time, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to go enjoy hanging with friends, something like that. Do not get ill intentionally.
No, don't.
I have to say that.
But also, like, take a break when you need to, right? Like, knowing that the artificial constraints will allow you to get things done, like, you can take a break.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Productivity hack, per my last email, take a break. It's breaking news. No one's ever deployed that advice.
Was such a
Kayla,
bad pun.
Thank you so much for that insightful hack. Should we wrap it up here?
Let's do it.
All right. Our producer is Michaela Hack.
Our technical director is Uchenna Ogu.
And our president is Devin Emery.
This show is a production of Morning Brew.
Thanks for listening, and personality hires.